Good morning, a warm welcome from Voorburg, close to The Hague in the Netherlands. It's finals day in the T20 competition here over in Holland, and the first semi-final is about to start between VRA from Amsterdam, who won the toss and choose to bat first, and HBS from The Hague, close to here. HBS last year's losing semi-finalists against VRA, who won this competition 3 times. It's Vikram Singh and Ben Cooper opening the batsmans. Singh is the number 1, receiving the first ball of the day by Sander Genevase, the openings bowler from HBS, who opens with a full toss, which is a no ball. And we start again with a free hit. Rainy overnight, quite wet also in the run-up for the bowler. Just had to cover the pitch 10 minutes before the start of this match. Second semi-final this afternoon between home club VCC from Voorburg and Sparta from Rotterdam. And there will be the final this afternoon at around 4 o'clock. VRA last week in the quarterfinals has beaten a strong Punjab team, a Rotterdam team. Another full toss, and they're being punished by Vikram Singh. The first boundary of the day. And again the no ball, so it's gonna cost, because there will be another free hit in this over. Genevase seems to have a bit of difficulty finding the rhythm in his run-up. And it seems Genevase has been taken out as a bowler. So we have, who is it replacing him to finish the over? Unfortunate start for HBS, who were already having trouble because of the absence of their main man, Tobias Vizé, a well-known, recognized T20 batsman for the Netherlands and for HBS. But he had an unfortunate accident a couple of weeks ago, in which he injured his finger, need an operation, and is still recovering. Just entered the ground and told it's going to take 11 more weeks before he will be fully recovered. It's a good shot by Singh, which is all the way for 6. Wessel Koster was the replacement as a bowler and being treated to this by Singh, who in the 50 over match between these two, which was played in the beginning of July, in the first weekend when the 50 over competition was able to start in Holland, scored a 99 against HBS and is already on 10 now. That's a better ball. Difficult for Koster to finish the over of his teammate Genevase. But come back well with his second ball for the over. To be honest, I lost count with all the free hits and no balls and the replacement of how many balls are left in the over. But it seems we still have 3 left. Single for Singh. Actually the first run they ran. So now it's Cooper on strike. Strong opening pair for VRA. First ball of the day for Ben Cooper, well bowled by Koster. And this will be the last one of this first over. And that's the end for Cooper, who looks to mistime this shot. So that's a stormy start of the day, with a bowling change halfway the over, a couple of boundaries and a wicket now, an important wicket for HBS. With Ben Cooper out, just to inform you, it's a single camera, so we won't be able to show you any replays. It's a bit of an experiment as well for us over here in Holland with this online coverage. Navjit Singh, who took the catch quite easy on the bowling of Wessel Koster. In a lively first over. So we are 14 for 1 now. After 1, we have seen 2 bowlers. Leon Termain, the new batsman. We have Wessel Koster bowling from the other end. I have to apologize for this. It's Ferdy Vink bowling from the other end now. His second ball. A steady start of his spell with the 2 dots. Singh finding the patience. Is not forcing yet. And here just passes the right hand, and it's a boundary in the end. 4. Quite a deep gully where it went past. That's a good shot by Vikram Singh again. It won't be going all the way, so they got to run for it. It's a 2 in the end. And Singh keeps the strike by the single on the last ball. So it's 21 for 1 after 2 overs. As everywhere around the world, a hard summer in Holland as well for cricket, although they were able to start at the beginning of July on the 50 over league, but no international matches. So there has been very many matches between the players of the Dutch team who were in Holland and some youth teams, under 19s, mostly played against under 23s. A lot of matches also on this ground, to have at least everybody playing, which was the main objective when all the international cricket had to be cancelled. As you might know, Holland qualified as well for the T20 World Cup, which will now be in India next year. We're supposed to start matches in the World League at home versus Pakistan. New Zealand was supposed to play a T20 match in Rotterdam, but all of this was cancelled. But the KNCB, the Cricket Federation from Holland, tried to make the most of it by having all these friendly matches within the national teams and a half 50 over league. Everybody played one match, either home or away. It was won by HCC from The Hague. After a turbulent first over, HBS now a bit more in control on the bowling. (23 for 1). It was fine bowling this over by Russell Koster, having VRA on 23 for 1 now after 3. Vikram Singh, the batsman, on 19. Very young Vikram Singh, but already in the squad of the Dutch team. Had some good scores during the 50 over league. A well-timed shot, but saved, so it's only 2 from this. Good chase. And that's another 2 for Debrup Dasgupta. Ja.
Oh ja, ik zag hem niet. Ik wist dat het Debrup was. Ik heb de score niet.
Dasgupta also one of the young talents from VRA and in the Netherlands, member of the under-19 squad. This one looks safe, but is not gonna make it, so it's another 2. Some very experienced players within the VRA side. Captain Peter Boren still to come. Ben Cooper already out with Termaine, but also some very fine young talents, which for sure we will be seeing today. Because of all the COVID regulations, the KNCB had to make a plan for spectators coming in. So there's a registration obligation. 500 was the maximum, and within a couple of days, these 500 were already online registered. So it promises to be, in these circumstances, a sellout later today, which is quite unique for Holland. Sell-out cricket matches, this doesn't happen too fast. It happened a couple of weeks ago in Schiedam when the 2 local teams, Excelsior and Hermes, played each other. And as I can remember, it was probably the first ever sell-out cricket match in Holland. 32 for 1 after 4. With the 2 young VRA men in the middle. New bowler from this end, Navjit Singh, the guy who took the catch, which was the end of a very short innings of Ben Cooper. One run for Dasgupta. It's safe. Just behind Julian de Meij. Halfway on mid-on. Single for Dasgupta. Unfortunately for VRA, Swarzinski not available today. Scored a big century last Sunday in the 50-over match against Punjab, who they were playing the day before in the quarterfinals of this T20 competition. VRA won the T20 one, of course, that's why they're here. Punjab on the Sunday won the 50-over one, despite the wonderful 120 unbeaten from Swarzinski. Singh the batsman. The camera system we are using is new for Dutch cricket. It has been used at a couple of matches in the 50-over league, and we hope to have it installed at every Topklasse club next year. And as we said before, it's an experiment for us over here to have a registration, to have coverage of this T20 final day, and doing it this. Of course, we would like to know what you think of it. Get in contact on whatever social media with KNCB Cricket. And of course, we want to know as well where you are watching this or following this. If it's in Holland or probably abroad. If you have any questions, we will try to answer them. We will have a couple of players later today joining us here to give you a bit of more insight in Dutch cricket. Nieuwe bowler, Julian de Meij, in the open space, easily picked out by Dasgupta. Oh, nice bowling by Julian de Meij, also a member of the national squad. And for the first time this year, had some important contributions with the bat as well for HBS. So loads of players have seen each other in those matches which the Dutch teams played against each other. The younger ones against the experienced ones. The same for these two. It's mistimed, this one, by Singh, and it's the end of his innings. Being caught on the bowling of de Meij. 40 for 2 now. Bit of a wild attempt by Singh. Probably a bit surprised by the length of the ball. Out for 23. Two important wickets for HBS for not too many runs after a very uncomfortable start in the first over by Genefase. New batsman, Shiraz Razul. Another one of the talents from Amsterdam. And there is work to do now for VRA, who will be definitely looking to their captain Peter Boren later this innings for a contribution as well. Good over, still from the May. And being joined now by hometown boy Tim de Lede.
Goedemorgen.
Goedemorgen. I think you need to come a bit closer to the mic. An appeal, but ignored. A member of VCC, the former captain of the Netherlands. Good morning, Tim.
Good morning, John.
Second time they are here at your club. What do you expect of today? What can you tell us about the wicket last week? What have you done?
Well, it's been quite a nightmare. We had last week we had a storm, and all the mobile cover sheets were torn, so we didn't have those. So we tried to dry the wicket, to keep the wicket dry with our usual covers. There are plenty, but after 12 years there's some holes in them, so all the time it was wet and we had to find solution. Luckily VRA helped out yesterday, so we got their new covers and their coconut matting. So I think it's quite dry. Obviously 10 o'clock start, you always find some dew in the wicket, but it's going to be a good day.
And it looks well up till now, the wicket, I think.
Yeah, it is played normal, so it was dry for the last 2 days, so, and it came out dry this morning, so it will be fine. They have actually prepared another wicket, but we will see how this behaves.
Is that the one for the final, or is it just a spare one?
No, it is meant for the final, but if this plays well, I'll trust they'll keep playing on this one.
Second over of Navjeet Singh. And VRA really need to find a partnership now. They got him cheap, the first two, HBS.
Yeah, and not the worst to get, especially Cooper, I think. A real danger man.
Nicked through the slips by Razul. And in the end it finds the boundary.
Hey, but isn't it fantastic that they give Das Gupta and Razul a chance to bat, eh? Obviously Vikram has made a name for himself already, but these two guys, it's so easy to put Boren in. Even in these games, that is fantastic for Dutch cricket.
And it must be one, so probably the experience from this year, from this cricket year as well, that all those youngsters really had chances this year.
Well, that's one of the benefits from this year, and hopefully clubs will actually do something with it.
What can we learn from it? What should clubs do with it?
Hire a full-time junior coach that can coach kids in the winter as well. Don't worry too much. It's a bad shot. Don't worry too much about overseas players that will win them the title in Topklasse. But invest in your youth, because that is the only way Dutch cricket will survive.
And that's from the man who is also within the KNCB, responsible for one of the younger sides. And let's hope indeed everybody learned from it. And if we want to spend money within clubs, let's spend it indeed on our own players instead. Well, of course, it has given us a lot as well. I mean, all the foreigners who were here as coaches, but probably it should be responsible from clubs as well to make an appointment and limit it to whatever number instead of buying and selling and trying to find and buy, probably even literally buy a title.
Absolutely. Cricket is changing in the Netherlands in that respect that hockey and football, it's almost impossible to combine those if you're a child. Because football will also go on until mid-June, maybe end of June next year. So as cricket we have to find a way to get the kids to play, offer them a chance to play all year round. Obviously we want them to play more than one sport, but if they're good at football, hockey, usually they are forced to choose that game by their coaches, which is a bad thing. Oh no.
There goes another one on the Mei. Easy catch for wicketkeeper Martijn Scholte. Looks like the same shot Vikram Singh played. Being surprised a bit by the length or what?
Well, I think the wicket is still a bit wet, so the ball stops a bit. And if you start sweeping, you have to be right over the ball. And in both cases, they were not. So I don't think it's a wise shot on an early morning wicket.
The end of Debroop Dasgupta's innings. 48 for 3 now. Clever bowling by the Mei.
Mr. Sweep, hey? Pete Boren.
Has entered. Former captain of the Netherlands, brought a lot to Dutch cricket with all his, well, also his match mentality, I think, apart from all his own contribution with bat and ball. But he has a role to play now for VRA today. Did you see that first over? Did you see what happened to? No, you didn't. Tim de Leyden didn't see it as well. With Sander Genefase, after a couple of full tosses, giving up that first over. It had to be finished by Wessel Koster. First run for Boren with that push to square leg. Was it hard this year, you think, for the Dutch cricket to find to find matches actually, to find a program probably? Did it ask a lot from you as a coaching staff?
Luckily they did, because we usually have an England trip for 10 days with the under-12 squad. That didn't go ahead, so we had to find our own games. And we did it with under-12s in the mornings on Saturdays, and with the under-14s in the afternoons. And it was actually quite fantastic. We had 10 full days on grass wickets. You see, it pops a bit, so I don't think Pete Boren is going to sweep, eh? And that is something for the group to learn. You cannot just play your game on every wicket. You have to look at the wicket. How does it behave? Which shots can I play? Which shots shouldn't I play?
As Boren showed here, when he made a bit of space for himself. 52 for 3 after 8.
Boren hasn't played a sweep yet, eh? So usually he starts sweeping from ball 1. So, and that's experience, eh? And that's what those guys learn now. If you bet at 7 or 8 every game, you're not going to learn much. Another good example from this year is Julian de Meij, who's bowling is all right, but his betting has come on big time. Fantastic. He betted at 9, 10, 11 last couple of years. So.
And of course it was probably all the clubs, well, they were forced to by the situation, and there was no title to be given, so probably. But the main thing from this year was indeed that if you give chances, some new talents probably will come out, or probably definitely do come out, but they need the chances. And exactly as you say, Julian de Meij was an example. Also with all the Dutch team matches against the younger ones, he found some betting rhythm, and in the end it contributed for HBS.
Absolutely. And it might be something for the KNCB to think about, because if the title or not relegating from top class is so important, it means next year they will fly in overseas guys again to make sure they either compete for the title or not relegate. And shouldn't we think about a system where there is no relegation? So you can actually play your youngsters at 3-4, bet them at 3-4 all season, let them feel and let them experience what it takes. And let them bowl 10 overs, even if it goes badly. So and who do we give the spots to? Well, that's probably the clubs that are investing in youth coaching, that are investing in turf wickets, that are investing in all the things that will maintain cricket in the Netherlands. So if you have a good setup, you deserve your spot in top class. And if you refuse to spend money on youth coaching or facilities, you name it, you play in a different league. We'll buy them a big cup.
Would you? What could be a maximum for professionals from abroad to have in a team? 2?
I think 2, yeah. You know, we have a lot of youngsters here, over 105 at the moment, and for us it would be very handy to have like 5 of those guys. But then again, we don't pay the overseas players that play for us. We give them a return ticket and a place to stay, and they can earn some money by working on the wicket and doing bar duties and stuff like that, and working a bit in the city here. And all our money goes into youth, into the new tent. We are building an indoor facility. We are trying to expand the turf wickets. So they're all the money we do get in is spent on things that will make cricket better here. And we've done so for the last 12 or 14 years. And it actually meant that we relegated twice. We played in the 3rd league a couple of years back. You know, that was not a problem, because we knew that the youth that was coming through, that was going to come through, was good enough. So I think they ended up 2nd this year. So that was quite a good return for the young boys.
It's Boran now facing de Meij. He looks very concentrated, Boran. And there's the finger. Oh, that's the end of Boran, who went forward with a big step, but still is being giving LBW. What do you say, oh man? You doubt it?
Well, I think you're a very good umpire if you give this out. He was well forward. Ball has a long, you know, we're not straight in line, so I shouldn't comment. But if he lands it in the strip and it just turns a little bit, there's a chance. But you know, there's always doubt, I think. So I was a more better in my mind. So that's.
A new batsman is Termain. And this was a hard one for VRA on either side, because it cost them Peter Boran's innings. And well, we're not going to comment on umpire decisions without having delays, but let's say it would have been a review if there was any. And not only because of the situation and the scoreboard situation at the moment.
Yeah, but the good thing is I like the pace he's bowling with. He just bowls it slow, and that is what the wicket is asking for. Peabourne hasn't swept, so hopefully Termaine has watched his captain. And you know, they won't get a high score, VRA, but HBS haven't got a strong batting lineup, so it'll be a tight game, I think. It'll be very interesting later on.
Well, anything around 100 will give them.
They have a chance, definitely. Yeah. They definitely have a chance.
So from now on, it's for the VRA batsmen also to recognize that chance, and
hopefully they will try to get another 60 in the next 11, and they're in with a chance.
Oh, it's safe. It started a bit high. Enemies field earns them another run. And HBS taking full advantage of the mouse bowling because he's already in his third over now. If I hear well, Boran immediately back in his role as a captain, supporting the two in the middle.
That was a bad ball. Got away with it.
Push by Razul. 65 for 4, halfway. So 10 to go. 10 overs to go. And as said before, HBS being handicapped by the absence of their main batsman, Tobias Vizé, with a nasty finger injury.
Well, it's a big shame for the day that he isn't here, because he is the most exciting T20 cricketer in the Netherlands, batsman, by far.
Vink now from this end. But not the one we have seen before. This is Steven Vink. Fairly Vink was the other one. Came in a bit. But in the open space. Ooh, and where is this one gonna go?
Shouldn't be two, eh? When you hit it to the boundary outside the inner circle, can't be two. It's slow.
But survived. But there is not a real, well, there is a need to rush, but not in this moment probably. First steady a bit.
Who have they got left? Gunning, Luke Hartsink is a very young guy, I don't know. Ashir Abid. Adil is a veteran. Udit is a young batter, so.
Yeah, he's the 12th man.
And
so
Mitch Lees.
Yeah, Mitch is the only one,
so.
probably. For a bit of a bigger contribution. Well, and Shiraz definitely, Razul should be able to add a few.
Well, they should also realize that 130 will be very competitive today, so there's no need to do stupid things.
Will there be a lot of change for the second match in the wicket when it probably dries a bit?
It'll be hard, it'll be easier to battle, so it'll be good to see. Especially Van Wijk from Sparta, who has been in amazing form.
The slower one looked a bit wide. And another risky double one.
We saw yesterday that T20 cricket is never over.
No, you mean the England-Australia one? Yeah.
There was no way Australia were going to lose that. No way. Amazing. Good over for VRA.
Yeah. 71 for 4 after 11. And both now, it doesn't mean a lot, but in double figures anyhow.
Eindigen over 11. VRA 72 voor 4. Rasool 12. Turner op 10.
And the man continues with his last over. This one you could really see what Tim de Lede just mentioned. It really comes slow towards the bat. And the Mai is really trying to exploit the situation with his bowling.
He's very tall, so he gets a bit of extra bounce. Beautiful.
Ooh, a nice ball.
Yeah, he's really developed the last 2 years. He's really developed into a very good all-rounder.
Nice one again. Just a single.
Okay.
So this is the last 2 balls of Julian de Meij. In which is already a perfect spell. And nearly could have had another one on his own bowling. Just dropped short of him.
Well bowled, and a good decision to let him bowl his 4 overs straight on, because he was so dangerous.
Finishing with 3 for 20. I don't think opening bowler Gene Fase will come back. I'm still not sure if it was an injury or because of the beamers. Okay, it was. I'm being helped because the number of beamers in that first over.
It's a shame for that boy, because he's his first year from Olympia, small cricket club in Gouda, and he's done reasonably well. Might have been nerves. He might have a second chance though later in the afternoon.
Oh. I met the new bowler.
Bowling slow leg spin. He's always bowling slow, so he's not adjusting to the wicket, he's just bowling very slow.
That's probably why they picked him for today then.
Yeah.
You might have heard wind is picking up a bit, not bringing too many clouds. With a few drops of rain just before it started.
Dutch cricket deserves a dry day.
Well, it has been tough all around the world for cricketers and any sportsman anyhow this year, but for a small cricket country as we are, adjusting to this situation with the main events which were scheduled, it was very hard to swallow that it all had to be cancelled. I mean, you have been there, but for, well, new generations probably to come, it would have been fantastic to have those matches in Amsterdam against the big countries. The T20 World Cup.
They're not gone yet. They'll be
No,
here.
no.
They'll be here, and Dutch team is trying to become a little younger, so those guys probably could do with an extra year. So I always try to look at it.
Yeah, well, there definitely is, as we have already concluded from this year. But also for a small sport we are over here in Holland, it was a huge responsibility as well for the federation to have the league started. And with everybody, there was a lot of attention for how will this go, and is it not going to be another spreader of the infections and everything, and all that was worked out very well. To VRA, 83 for 4 now. The 14th. And Navjit Singh, the one who replaced Julian de Meij on the other end.
Navjit, good cricketer, still 20, 21 I think, so young boy, bats at 3 or 4, good batsman. And they also had a good chance this year to play, because last year they had this very strong batting line.
Yeah.
But there was with Baresi and 2 or 3 overseas guys batting before him, so he didn't get enough chances. And you don't progress as a cricketer, you don't develop. So for him also, very good year.
Wicketkeeper Martijn Scholte.
You don't see that too often.
Changing one of his gloves, huh? Only one?
Probably
Or 2? Oh, both of them.
Gloves for the last 7 overs
Yeah,
of the match.
could be. Son of a former international Holland player as well, Reinoud Scholte, also a wicket keeper.
Yeah, only 15, so
Yeah.
it's nice that he got a chance. And unfortunately, Tobias Fizet
Yeah,
got injured.
which is the first big wicket keeper. Although I think they played a couple of matches in the 50 overs where they switched after 25 overs
that
from
could be.
keeper. At least one time they did, I know. But been successful HBS in the T20 last years. A bit of lucky here, a bit of luck. What do you expect of the second semi-final where your VCC is in? You're not in today, huh?
No, that wouldn't be wise.
I thought I saw a suspense smile, but
Well, Sparta have got 3 or 4 guns betting, and Van Wijk is obviously the key to get. And if you get him early, it'll probably have an effect on the rest of the betting lineup. They say strong bowling lineup. I don't think Philip Boissevin is playing. He had
is injured.
yeah, he's on the verge of being fit, but I don't think he's going to risk it. And VC have got a decent betting lineup, not very long. So I think teams are fairly similar, but Van Wijk obviously is the standout guy from probably on the day. So a lot will depend on him, which hopefully affects him as a VCC man. Because in the preliminary round you could play fairly free, and today it's a one-off. Well, starting with the semis, obviously. So that can do something when you know you're the most important guy. Some guys love it, some guys freeze. So I don't know him, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and he didn't play that much of 50 overs, but last week he was in the 50 over squad as well of Sparta.
Okay.
So probably wanted to have a bit more. There goes another one for VRA. It looked a very poor shot.
It was wide, and
It was really wide.
maybe a bit of a leg cutter or something. Wasn't fantastic cricket.
Leon Termain out, caught behind
Nee, volgens mij nog
by
niet.
Martijn Scholte.
Maakt er niets van. Die gast die nu de trap oploopt, dat die bodywarmer.
Gunning, Quirijn Gunning, the new batsman.
Bodywarmer. Dat is Richard Verlangen.
15th over. 90 for 5. As being predicted by Tim de Lede. 120, 130 is a real competitive score.
It looks like they're cruising towards 130, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully
Not with big shots.
no,
Actually,
hopefully Q has looked at the others and just push it around for 6, 7 and over is enough. And then maybe last 2 overs, if you're still there, you can go for it. He's a bit hesitant, you have to be right in there, it's slow, so you cannot stand up, you have to be low. And that is it with T20. If every batter takes 2 balls to get used to the wicket, you've lost 4 overs.
Yeah.
And that is 24 runs, and usually that is the margin. So that's 2 balls gone now.
And
And he should have known how it plays. He should have adapted on the side.
There are shots to adapt with a single as well.
Yeah, easy. But you know, he's not batting at 7 because he's great. So,
This one,
yeah, that was the nicest
Probably
half
the
volley
one,
of the day. I think if he would block this one, Peter Bourne would have said, "Yeah, you're
Come.
to the.
yeah.
Your mother wants to talk to you."
Did you play in your, well, in the midst of your career? T20 wasn't that big already, I think. You never played it.
I think I played one in my whole life.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah,
also
yeah,
in the
yeah.
end of.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have learned it as a spectator.
Yeah. And I absolutely love
You
it.
like it? Yeah,
I
you love it.
Yeah. There's so much skill involved. To actually hit a ball out of the park, you have to do so many things right. And to make a forward defense, you always have to do a lot of things right. So it's, for me, it's not slogging. It's just playing very aggressive. But
Timing.
yeah, and if you lose your shape, you'll go out anyway. So there's so much skill in it. Okay, that's two.
It's got to be two, and it is.
That's well played. Eh?
Yeah. Shiraz Razul.
That was just hit soft enough, eh? James, how are you, man?
Good bowling by HBS.
Yeah, nothing spectacular.
No,
just,
but
medium pace and line and length, and that's all you have to do. Don't get hit
this,
for four.
no, like this one. But this one was there to hit for four as well.
Yeah, fully out and width. So
It's timing in commentary as well, as I
yeah,
found out.
Yeah.
I noticed on the wicket of Peter Boran as well. Just telling that he looked very concentrated and, well, got that LBW, which we won't be talking too long about, but
It's good.
and that's
Yeah,
the
this is
100 after a poor throw, which missed wicket, bowler and everybody around there. 100 for 5 in the 16th for VRA. And as it goes in T20, they look to run into 100 very easily in the first couple of overs and then got stuck by a couple of wickets, a misfield here. But it is only one. They really had to work to come to this 100.
Well, you know, there's a lot in this wicket for bowlers, but they are the medium paces are gentle medium paces. There's not a lot of aggression in them, so they let the batters. I don't think they're better than what they're bowling at the moment. So I'm not blaming the bowlers or something, but if you bowl like Peter Boran, for instance, he really hits the deck, and on a wicket like this, it moves around. So if you hit the right length, you cannot get ones and twos this easily. See, this is gentle.
Yeah.
He just lobs it. The good thing is that the VRA guys didn't do any. They didn't try and hit a six, for instance, because they can't afford to. And they've got their
No, I think
6-7 runs, and now they are.
The only
looking at-
boundaries were the ones by Vikram Singh very early in the innings.
Yeah.
Another two.
Yeah, edge of the circle, you always have a chance to run to. And the fielder is a bit late to react, as he was in this case. Another chance for
Yeah.
two. Very well played.
Smartly pushed away.
Oh no.
He slipped, but he made it.
Yeah, but he
Shiraz Razul.
hesitated. He hesitated on bowler's end, and that is always two.
Well, especially, he looked like putting it away there to run two, and then
He had done everything right, and then started to hesitate. That's too hard for two.
Still a young player as well, Shiraz Razul, in his first year at VRA. That's a catch for De Meij on the boundary. Easy one.
And that's what you shouldn't be doing
No.
here. You know, they were going nicely, and now a new batter has to get used to the facilities. And if he takes also 2 or 3 balls, then we're another 3 singles at least gone. Big chance this game will be tight. So, always a bit disappointed when this happens.
Mitch Lees is the new batsman. 108 for 6 in the 17th over in the innings of VRA in the first semi-final of the T20 competition in the Netherlands. VRA wicketkeeper Mitch Lees at the crease now, facing his first ball. Took the single, easy single. It was Razul, I'm sorry, I was mixing up. Razul now on 27, 109 for 6, 3 to go.
At least 18. Who knows, eh? Razul can hit a cricket ball. He can seriously hit a cricket ball. So they've got 2 more overs with the wind, so that's a very good chance to go over the top.
Which, well, you mentioned the wind now, which was a bit more when we started this game, which might have affected Gene Vaassen's bowling as well, trying to adjust to that. Wessel Koster as being announced by the speaker from the church end, which is actually quite far away, but a beautiful church in the center of Voorburg.
Fantastic running.
You're not interested in the touristic information about Voorburg, huh?
Definitely, yeah, but,
as being a true Voorburg man. Good running. Nelson on the board.
Cannot be to Julian De Meij.
Oh, they take it, but it's a bad throw by De Meij. A poor throw.
He also, I think he starts too late or he's too deep. Maybe he should be 1 or 2 meters in. But this was too hard. Hit too hard. Mitch Lees is doing a great job for Razul.
But as you said, Shiraz Razul definitely capable of hitting the ball out of the park, but showing some sensible batting since he came in.
Yeah, very good.
It was not the moment to start showing all these big shots, but picking up responsibility today. Which is also for youngsters, could be an attraction on a day like this. Start showing all your capabilities in 3 balls or whatever, and it has to be in your mind.
Yeah, it's a good thing that he doesn't want to show
No.
off. He wants to get them to 130. Right.
Ooh, they should have stayed away anyhow, but it's alright.
They obviously know the not weakness of HBS betting, but without the Vise there are so much less. That 130, we'll probably have spoken about that. 130.
Yeah.
We have got a really good chance to win.
Another white one, but he took it for a single.
It ends up way before points, so wicket still a bit slow, although this was a strange ball. It looked almost like a slow 0-1. Both teams will be happy with this over.
Yeah.
Huh?
Bit of annoyance in between some of the HBS fielders and bowler.
Not
The
many,
throws and
not many at the ground will remember this over.
18 voor 6, met Rasool 34. En Wies 2.
But that's also something for Dutch cricket. I mean, we don't have many matches like we had the last weeks with the quarterfinals and these sort of matches. I mean, also the league goes on and on. It's not. Probably we should go back to playoffs again or something, because you want to play.
I discussed that yesterday because we were at the ground all day working on everything. And if this day learns you that there should be finals in the 50 overs with semi-finals, days where it matters, and
Or probably even half a competition and then go on with the
whatever
top
north
four and
south,
divided
after that.
And in my
Because
opinion,
it's all about getting the runs when you are supposed to be getting the runs, and not just any day. And cricket is all about pressure and how to deal with it. And I think Brazil shows us that he has it, he understands it. Yeah, possible too. No.
yeah,
He
he's gonna
hesitated
get
again.
there.
He
Yeah.
hesitated again.
And he's out.
Yeah.
Given run out with a short hesitation after turning for the second one. And this time it costs him.
Yeah, and it's going to
And-
cost VRA as well, because of that last over. He can. I don't think any of these. Oh, ideal. He doesn't clear the boundary.
Good innings by Rasool. Comes to a bit of a silly end by that run out. But he has shown at least the responsibility.
But the good thing is that he understood the situation.
Yeah,
He
exactly.
understood the wicket, understands that 130 is a challenging score today. So that was really positive. You know, sometimes we forget that it's 18 or something with the young guys, 17, whatever.
Adil Raja is the new batsman, with respect, but the veteran in the VRA side.
Good start.
But VRA definitely in it with the 121 at the moment, and everything that comes now probably even feels like a bit of bonus to the score. And well, the
Hey, one or two bad balls, and it's
yeah,
135.
we're closing into 140 indeed.
Adil's quite happy with the single though. This was a little too short.
And not to forget, VRA got it on the board without contributions from the big guns, from Cooper and Warren.
Yeah, and that's probably why it's 130 or around 130.
And if it's enough to come into the final, they still have those. 2 at least for their part in the final, in a probable final. Last over.
Important over, hey? 135 or 130?
It's up to Wessel Koster for the last over, who actually had a roll already in the first over, not by choice. 125 for 7, 6 balls to go at least. The single from Raja.
He's quite happy with singles, hey?
I need to spare the legs for his run-up.
Well, he turned 40 the other week. It's fantastic that he's still playing, huh? He's still good enough.
Five to go. This one for the big hit, but it's gonna be caught. It is. Brings an end to the innings of Mitch Lees.
And more important, it's a dot ball, eh? No run. It's
No
not
run.
a dot ball, but it's no run. So
comfortable catch. Eight wickets down in the 19th over with 4 balls to go. 125 on the board.
Luke Hartsink, I think.
No, it's not. I think a bit. I think Luke is 12 men because he's
Okay.
wearing the orange. I'm not sure. Definitely Ashir Abid is batsman. I don't think Luke is in the team, but I'm not sure.
See, and he bowled so well.
He bowled
in,
very well
last
this
couple
year,
of weeks.
definitely. Oi.
Oh, that is the 4.
It's not going to make it, I think. Will survive just before
They'll
the
run
boundary.
4.
They will run probably 4. No, it's going to be 3.
Was there a chance to catch the ball, you think, for the keeper?
It looked close to his hand, at least. And it was... Is it Luke? No. No, it's not Luke Beckham. Ashir Abid is a batsman, number 4. So 128. But we mentioned Luke Hartsink, another one who has risen this season very quickly, taken many wickets. 129 now.
Yeah, his second year in the Netherlands, coming from South Africa. His family moved to the Netherlands and found a great club in VRA, I think. And under guidance of Peter Boren, is doing really well. Very good to see.
Still a lot of youth cricket to come after this final day for the T20s. They're going for the
Adil pushing for 2. That's
for
a
2.
great sight.
Well, he is on the safe side. Or is it the direct hit that's going to cost him? No, it's not. Immediately. With a nod from the umpire.
Adil's son Aman is watching, so Adil has to do everything right, otherwise his son will tell him.
We'll tell him. One to go. 132 for 8.
Two again to the Mai though, which is the third or fourth time, which isn't great, I think.
And this is gonna be, no, it's not, cause slipped. End of the innings of VRA comes on 133, as predicted by Tim de Lede, who knows so well. This is gonna be a competitive score.
Yeah, exciting game on our hands. Slow wicket, obviously after all the rain during the week, but very consistent, so you can bet on it, but you can't do fancy things. And looking at the betting lineup of HBS, they will have a task on their hands.
Okay, with all the local knowledge, just before you say goodbye, prediction for the final?
VRA will play VCC.
Thank you very much, Tim. Enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it as well. We're gonna have a short break and be back with the second innings when HBS is gonna try to get that 133 of VRA in there. 20 overs. So we'll come back at VCC for the second innings of this first semi-final. HBS to bat being set a target of 133. And immediately got the board ticking on the first ball. It's Reese Mason and Navjeet Singh opening the batting for HBS. And Ashir Abid opening the bowling for VRA from the church end, as they call it over here in Voorburg. Being lifted just over the inner circle, but being picked up by Vikram Singh before it clears the rope. So that's a 2. Glorious day after a bit of rainy start this morning. Still some wind, but we might get to 20 degrees Celsius. Finals day and the first wide of the VRA innings. Bit too wide on the offside. Marvelous ground, one of the turf wickets in the Netherlands. Here over at Voorburg, where last year's finals day of T20 was also being held. But this is a special one with all the regulations, and there is the first wicket. A good catch on a silly shot, because that was exactly where the fielder was being put there for, and he gently whipped it, pushed it, well, not really a push, but just brought it to the fielder there. The end of Manjinder Singh, caught by Termaine on the bowling of Abid. 4 for 1 in the first over. You probably just found the stream of this first semi-final of T20 cricket in the Netherlands. We're having a bit of an experiment with this one camera coverage of this finals day. We had many reactions already on social media. Keep sending them. If any questions, we will try to answer them for you. Julian de Meij is the new batsman for HBS. And it's a real family affair here at Voorburg, because we are being joined now by the son of Tim de Lede, Bas. Just come a bit closer to the microphone. Yeah. Because we're having reactions from all over the world, and they want to hear you. Excited for today? It's going to be your final, your first, I think, semi-final.
Yeah, very excited. First semi-final for, I think, a lot of the boys. So I think everyone's buzzing to get out there and perform for what looks to be a great crowd.
Were you surprised by the score of the VRA innings?
I wouldn't say surprised. I think 133 is a defendable total. Wicket looks to be doing enough for the bowlers, so as long as they can keep the pressure on early, I think they've got a good chance at defending it. But I was surprised with the power that they've got in the batting lineup, that they only managed to get to 130.
Did you do anything on the preparation of the wicket, or have you just been checking all week and looking at it?
I've only done the covers. I haven't done anything in terms of rolling or cutting the grass. I've just helped with the covers, and looked how the ground staff did their work.
And they did a lot of work, eh? Well, all year around, I think.
Yeah, we're lucky enough to have a great ground staff at VCC that prepare what has been amazing pitches this year, and it looks to me that once the day goes on, I think the pitch will get better and better. So hopefully for our semi-final, it'll be a flat belter.
What is your... Well, I've been discussing with your father as well, but everywhere in the world it has been a different season like everyone was expecting. Just see the start of the second over for VRA. And your plans were definitely different than what it has turned out to be, but, well, apart from probably the disappointment for missing out your season in England with the MCC Young Cricketers, what do you think of it? What have you made of it this year?
Well, first of all, I think we're very lucky to still have got a season in here. Obviously, for me, disappointing not to be able to play in England, but I think it's been great to come back to VCC and play with guys I've played up until age group cricket under 18s with and against. And I think it was an amazing opportunity for most of the clubs to see how their up and coming youngsters go. But yeah, like I said, I think we've been very lucky and fortunate enough to still get 9 games in and play half a season.
And for you personally, I think, I mean, well, you're still very young, but you sort of come back here and had to stay here. There was a lot of responsibility on your shoulders as well, which might be new, I think, as well, to carry that in a senior team.
Yeah, definitely. It's a role I've enjoyed having, though. I think with the responsibility, it makes me think about the game more and be more involved in the field. And obviously, 2 years ago, when I was still 18, I didn't yet have that role. But yeah, it's a role I enjoyed having, especially together with Tom and Viv. As 2 of our more experienced players, it's been very enjoyable.
Ooh, that was very close. But they made it just because he missed a wicket, I feel. Good throw. Sharp running. That's funny, eh? It's called stupid running, it's a run out. And when it's a run out, then it's called sharp running when you made it. So just before we go back to your semi-final and this one, but do you have any plans now, or is everything still on hold for your winter?
Yeah, for me this winter it doesn't look like there'll be many games, so I'm just gonna try and train as much as I can. I've started an online study which I'll be spending my time on. But yeah, for the winter it doesn't look like there's going to be much cricket games for me.
And does that mean, as we have, well, real winter, can have real winters in Holland, is that a winter in the gym, or are you planning also outdoor trainings?
It will be spent mostly in the gym, and hopefully I'll be using the VOC indoor facility a lot. But it obviously depends on how many people want to train. But yeah, it's a good chance for me to get back in the gym, try and get stronger for my bowling, especially because I've had trouble with my back. And yeah, just try and get stronger, work on some technical stuff. That's what I'll be spending most of my time on.
Yeah, is that where you have been trying to improve already more on your bowling? Well, I've seen you bowling a couple of times this summer. You look a fair bit quicker than probably 2 years ago, probably.
Yeah, it's definitely something I've been focusing on for the past 2 years, and I feel like at the moment my bowling holds up fine, but I can still be that little bit better if I get stronger. So hopefully start working towards that, and then with this couple of technical changes, can add that couple of extra kilometers to my bowling.
A couple of times I saw you looking for a nasty bouncer.
Yeah, I do enjoy a bouncer now and then. You have to keep the batsman on their toes.
Oi! It was a chance there for Mitch Lees. Julian de Meij really being put up in the order of HBS. Started, I think, well, in the 50 overs, but as a number 8-9 batsman. Had some, as we discussed before, some real good innings in the 50 over format, and is now the number 3. And that's the first boundary of the HBS innings. We didn't see too many in the VRA innings. Your father said 133 is a real competitive score, and the HBS, well, as we discussed, with the absence of Tobias Fusé, the batting lineup might have a tough job getting this. Do you agree?
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think there's still a couple of HBS players who are potentially dangerous for VRA, but I think this partnership will be very important to them, and see how they come out the power play. If they can keep it to 1 down and try and get to 30 or 40, I think they're very competitive, and they've still got the batting depth to go through the full 20 overs and make 130.
And well, probably the VRA innings learned everybody, but at least HBS, that it not always has to be with big shots and big boundaries, because they kept the board ticking and we didn't see too many boundaries.
Yeah, I think young Shiraz Rasul played a very good innings, and it just showed how much runs you can still make by just hitting gaps and hitting the sweepers hard. They ran very well. I think they took a lot of twos where maybe most teams will only take one, and it just shows. I think the wicket was maybe a bit tricky at some stage, so it didn't offer much for big shots, and they played it smartly through the middle overs.
Okay, let's have a bit of look forward, a bit of a prediction probably for your semi-final against Sparta. I think it's the one you expected to be your opponent when you look at the quarter-final draw. What will be the main threat? Well, we can all guess by looking only at the scores already, but they got some hard-hitting batsmen in Van Wijk and Bukhari. Do you have any special plans for it, or are you just going to play your game and you think there will be enough? And with you, I mean your team.
Yeah, obviously they've got a couple of hard-hitting batsmen in their lineup, and I think the way we go about it in the power play is going to be very important. See if we can try and grab a couple of early wickets. But no, not necessarily a change of plan than the other games for Van Wijk or Iqbal or Bukhari especially. I think we're just going to try and stick to our guns and see if we can swing the ball early on with Viv and Ali, and see if we can take a couple of quick wickets to put the pressure on.
Just probably you did as well, but I was looking back to the 50-over match between you, which was a real thriller, I think, with an enormous partnership for Sparta for the 10th wicket, which brought them the victory in the end. Will it be a repeat like this, or is this going to be a total different game? Because Van Wijk didn't play that 50-over game, I think. No, he wasn't there. Or was he?
Yeah, he did play. He made 40 runs. It's hard to say. I think it's going to be a very competitive match. I think it's going to be close. And in the end, I think it's going to be decided on small things. You know, you've got to take your catches, extras. Just got to be real harsh on ourselves and perform to the best we can, and then we'll see. I think it's going to be a close game, that's for sure. Hopefully not as close as the 50-over game, which we came on.
As all our spectators do want.
As long as we come out on the upper hand,
yeah.
I'll be right with that.
Is there any sort of pressure from the fact that you're playing at home? I mean, also probably by reaching this.
I don't think it puts extra pressure. I just think it puts it gives us extra motivation to do well. Obviously, hopefully a lot of people from VCC will come and watch and support, and I think it'll be an extra motivation to do well, and the extra support, it'll just give you the extra edge, hopefully, from the home crowd. So I think it's not pressure, it's more, I think it's going to help us in the game.
And well, you will always have the odd one, but before your quarter-final, come on, you got to make it, because it's at our place and everything. You will, but you might be get used to that as well. Yeah. On the other end, how much there is not much for. I discussed it with your father as well, but there are not much these sort of matches you play as Dutch cricketers. I mean, real knockout games or semi-finals or quarter-finals or whatever. For example, for yourself, how many of those sort of games did you play?
Yeah, I've never played one in my VCC career to date, and I think it's all about the way that you think about the game. I think as long as you know you've trained well for these type of situations, you know what your strengths are, you know what your potential weaknesses are, you can try and figure out how to win a game. Obviously, the more you start thinking about potential pressure and stuff, the more you're gonna go away from your game and start thinking about other stuff that doesn't really matter. So I think for us, it's just trying to keep it as simple as possible. Limit what we have to do to ourselves and focus on the things we can control.
Yeah, well, not the standard, but the situation of a knockout match, would it be comparable to the matches the Dutch national team is going to play on a World Cup, for example? Because although they are in a group, they might feel all as a sort of a final.
Yeah, you could say it's similar. I've never been lucky enough to experience a World Cup match yet. Hopefully one day, but yeah, I think it's similar kind of pressure. It's hard to say, I think.
I'll ask you afterwards.
Yeah.
That might be better. You've seen Peter Boren being brought in the attack into Julian de Meij. 22 for 1 after 4. He is, well, you played with him, I think, with Peter in the national team. Just try to describe. Is it domain bowling? You're right, yeah. It's got to be my glasses. It's not number 6, but number 8. But still want to talk about Peter Boren because you know him as an opponent, you know him as a captain. He has brought a lot to Dutch cricket in the last decennium or something. What kind of a person is he? How would you describe him as a cricket player to start with?
I think he plays the game hard but fair. He always tries and gets the best out of people as a captain, whether that is bowling, batting, mentally. He tries to push you to the limits, and I think I respect that from him is because he does it himself as well. He sets an example of the standard he wants to be at as a captain, and you can see when you're playing against him, the guys follow him. You know, he's a real natural leader, and I think it's someone who, as a captain myself, I look up to. That is very close.
It is, and it's gone. Very good throw by Ashirabit. It looked like a solid run.
That is a big wicket, I can tell you that. Julian de Meij not happy. Must have been close.
And it's Julian de Meij run out there for 8 runs. And that definitely is a big blow in the chase HBS has got to make. Probably with the absence of Tobias Vizé, the batsman in form for HBS the last couple of weeks. So comparable to VRA's innings, where Cooper and Boren didn't contribute. Unlucky LBW decision probably, like de Meij's. This one, well, we're not discussing the ones because we don't see replays. But still, the lessons to be learned from the VRA innings, that it doesn't have to be with big hits and slogs and everything, but if you just keep looking and pushing for 1s and 2s and the odd boundary, you can come a long way. Like they're going here. Another close one, but it is safe. Did you see all of the VRA innings?
I did, yeah, from the first over till the last over. The first over was a bit of a hectic one. But yeah, I watched all of it. And like I said, I thought Shiraz played the anchor role in the innings, which was really well, which he did really well. I think at the moment this is where Pete Bourne's experience will come in handy for VRA. They'll look to squeeze, try and get out their power play. I think under 30 they'll be happy, and it's going to be a real test for HBS and their youngsters to see how they handle the pressure that's going to come onto them.
Have you made your mind up already what you do when you win the toss? You don't have to say what you do, but has it been in part of discussions?
I've thought about it, but I think I'm going to have a look at the wicket after this innings and then decide.
Been all week looking at the wicket. Come on.
Can still change within 1 hour.
Yeah, well, I read a little story. You do a lot, and you mentioned them with Viv, Kingma, and Tom de Groot. Well, it's a sort of three-man leadership, or are you the one taking decisions?
I'm the one responsible for the decisions in the end, but yeah, we pretty much discuss everything with the three of us, and then I'll be the one responsible or the one taking the decision in the end. But I think with Viv as our sort of bowling expert and Tom as our batting and field position expert, we've got a good group of.
And then it's the all-rounder who takes the decisions,
yeah.
As it should be.
Yeah, I'm the one to blame if it goes wrong as well.
HBS in strong need of getting a partnership to at least find a platform in this semi-final. Probably at this moment shouldn't even be looking at a score, but just find some form of anchor in these two.
Good move from Peter Bourne as well to bring Quirijn Gunning back into the attack. Their main bowler, main strike bowler. Ooh, as we speak, almost to run out again. But he'll be looking to try and find another wicket in this power play to really put the pressure onto HBS.
So this is indeed Quirijn Gunning again. And balls keep falling short with not too big shots. Any favourite to play in the final? Any preference? Don't come up with the one you have to beat everybody to win it.
No, I don't think we've got a preference. I think both teams are strong and can beat us on their day, but we can also beat them on our day. So whoever we come up against, if we do make it to the final, is going to be a good game, hopefully. But yeah, at the moment I think VRA have got the upper hand, but we'll see in a couple of overs where they are.
Yeah, well, I was trying in advance to this to find a favourite of the four teams anyhow, but it will be very hard to point out one, because I think all four of you are capable at least of beating each other, and also either with the ball or with the bat. I mean, of course, every team will have a stronger side on either bowling or batting, but it looks to be quite even balance, all four the teams.
Yeah, definitely. I think all four have got potential match winners, whether that be bowling or batting, and they've got enough depth in their batting and bowling to, to make it competitive and to beat the other teams. So it's really going to be not a toss of the coin, but it's going to be down to a bit of luck, I guess, and whoever fires on the day. You've got to hope one or two guys fire from your side and one or two don't from the other side. So yeah, like I said, it's going to be tight games, both of them, and then the finals hopefully going to be even more spectacular.
When does warm-up start for VCC? This one is safe.
We set our sights on half an hour before the game, so they'll be 12:40. But obviously it depends on how long this game will go on, and maybe we'll start doing some work on the side, on the nets, to get ourselves warmed up, but not too early, hopefully, because the boys need to be warm before they get in and not be cold again because of the wind.
Any surprises in the team today?
We've got
Philip Boissevin playing.
Yeah, Philip Boissevin's been declared fit, and he'll play instead of Stijn de Leider, who's been left out. And yeah, Flippy's obviously for us, he's a potential match winner, and I'm really excited that he's back and he's bowling for us. And I think if he gets going, he's going to be one of our main threats in the bowling.
It was definitely a matter of being fit. It's not a matter of being, well, end of the season we're going to take the risk, because he cannot afford to take a risk.
Well, it's delicate because it's ankle, and ooh, that's well bowled.
Very well bowled.
This is exactly what VRA wanted. Another wicket, and now you've got two new batsmen in, and they're going to look to put a real squeeze on here.
At the wicket for Termaine, Reese Mason. And this is trouble for HBS. Not really able to give it a good fight up till now. And they really need a surprise batsman to get something going. Running short at the moment. Just go on for about Philip Boissevin.
Yeah, obviously his ankle, so very delicate, and he's been seeing a physio for the past 2 weeks to see if he would be fit, and I think he'll be taped up, and he's got a brace, so he's well protected. But yeah, it was just a matter of seeing how badly his injury would be if he would get injured again, if it would get worse. Yeah, exactly. And I think from what I've heard, there's not a very big risk, so it's a risk worth taking, I think, in my opinion.
Has he been training this week?
Yeah, he has been training. Yeah, so we've trained on Tuesday and Thursday as a group, and he's been there as bold as balls. They look to be coming out very good, so I'm excited for him for today.
These slow bowlers don't use their ankles anyhow, do they?
No, exactly. They've got no strain on their body. They should have no strain on their body.
Okay, thank you very much for joining us. Wish you all the best of luck, and very important, enjoy it as well. Bas de Lede.
Thank you very much.
Is going to be one of the players in our second semi-final of the day, when home team VCC is taking up against Sparta from Rotterdam. New bowler, the very young Luc Hartzink, been discussed with Tim de Lede this morning, is having a terrific season in youth games, but also in the senior games with VRA 1 and league games, in the national team practice games side with the under-19s who are preparing for a qualification for a World Cup under-19 in a couple of years. And this is the first wicket on his second ball. Another one for Luc Hartzink, another one for VRA, and HBS in deep trouble now. 30 for 4. A young, promising spin bowler moved from South Africa into the Netherlands with the whole family a couple of years ago. Watching where to play cricket in the Netherlands, found a home at VRA in Amsterdam, and is adjusting rapidly to the Dutch game. VRA has it all in their hands now. Complete control. Switching to round the wicket on the left-hander. And there goes one past the bat. Beaten by the slower pace. Very well done by Luke Hartsink. Immediately in control of the batsman from the first ball on. Oh. And there goes another one. Unbelievable. 2 wickets again for Luke Hartsink in his first over already. Huge spinning ball. Bodendijk is the batsman to go. 30 for 5. And it looks nearly impossible from here for HBS to come even close. I'm being joined next to me for a warm welcome to Mudassar Bukhari, captain of Sparta, in the wait for his semi-final. Well, you played lots of big games. You played national games. You played at World Cups. Still being thrilled for a game like this, for a semi-final like this with your club team?
Hi there, everybody. It's still always that greediness in yourself to play a game, being on the field with the boys and wanted to win a game is always there. And until you have that, I think you're going to do well for your team and for yourself. And that's what wakes you up early in the morning to come to the grounds as well.
As I discussed with Bas de Lede and his father Tim, and I'm going to do with you right now, you did as well, I'm sure, look at the 4 teams here. And I honestly really couldn't pick a favorite. There is not one really growing above all the others. It looks to be fairly balanced.
Yeah, definitely all 4 teams are quite balanced and they have done well throughout the season. I think all the teams have some good match winners in their squads. So it's gonna be good. All the games gonna be good and enjoyable for all the viewers and all the people who are sitting here.
You said indeed about the season, good seasons. For your team, for your club, for Sparta, you really grew in the season, I think. It was a bit of a slow start. You played a hell of a match against VCC here. Are you on top already?
Yes, I think we've been working for the last 4 years on our team and we got some good youngsters coming through as well. And really happy to see that our local players are performing really well. Obviously, we have a little bit of help with a good guy like Leonard van Wijk who's scoring a lot of runs for us. But around him, a lot of all the other guys are performing, which is very good to see for the club. And I think this is how it should be. Our local players and local guys here need to work hard on their game and just walk next to the overseas guys. Like, guys, we can also win the games for you guys.
Do you have everybody available today who you wanted to bring?
Yes, for first time in the whole season we got a full squad here, so it's gonna be hard to pick which 11 are gonna be on the field today because we got like 14 guys here today, and all 14 are much capable of winning us the game.
Have you made your you have been here for an hour now, I think. Have you made your conclusions about the wicket already?
Yeah, looks a little bit slow wicket. It's turning quite a bit already, but I think it's as the sun is out, like it's quite hot now, and I think during the day, later in the day, it's gonna play much better than what it's playing now, and I think spin bowling is the way to go here.
Looking back, well, it's a day of looking forward and a bit looking back at the season. From the situation all the world is in at the moment with the COVID virus still going around, are you happy with the season we had? Were you surprised by the many matches we were able to play?
I think it's it's quite hard work behind the scenes from KNCB side to making this happen this year, because nobody was expecting to play any single games. And we really appreciate all the efforts from KNCB guys and all the people behind the scenes who have worked really hard to make this possible for all the youngsters and local who are staying here to come out and play some games. And I think hats off to all the KNCB guys.
Are there lessons to be learned from this year for next years to come?
Definitely, you know, we plan ahead so many things, and you never know what's going to happen next. And it's good to be prepared, but we need to just do things what are capable in your own hands, and just work with that. And let's see what happens further down.
There was a big, huge disappointment, well, for the whole cricketing world, but especially for us as well in the Netherlands, having qualified for the T20 World Cup, having those World League matches coming, with all being scrapped because of the situation. In your opinion, from watching aside, being a former player of the Dutch team, did they handle that as well? Did they handle it okay? You can imagine the disappointment, I think.
I think it's a big disappointment for the cricket board, obviously, and for Netherlands fans. But I think the guys who have been working months towards to these tournaments, I've been part of that, and I know exactly how hard it goes and how much time and effort you put in away from your family, your wives, your kids. I was more disappointed for all those guys who have put so much time and effort in it to qualify it first of all, and then they were looking forward to play all those big teams like Pakistan and all the other teams who were coming over to Netherlands, and I think all the fans were looking for it. But unfortunately we missed that opportunity, and hopefully KNCB or all the ICC members can plan these games again, and so all the fans in Holland can enjoy that games.
There goes another one high up in the air, and that's an easy catch again. Cooper has it. Had to run a bit for it, but number 6 is down already for HBS, who are really in shambles now. 33 for 6. Not looking a very sensible shot for the moment. What the situation they're in now? What should you do? I mean, I think you should forget about getting there anyhow, but squeeze out the 20 overs and make them sweat for it, or what would you tell as a captain to your ingoing batsman now?
Nah, I am personally a match winner, so I wanted to go still believing in it that we can chase this down. Just try to win this game, even get out in the next coming 2-3 overs, and but at least try to win this game. There's no point playing 20 overs and making another 20 runs for it. And as a captain and as a former player, there is always a chance you can win. So believe in it and try to go for the win. The result is not in your hand. At least you have tried. When you come off the rope, that you can say yourself, looking in your mirror, and you can say, okay, I have tried my best. I've tried to win this game for my team. So this is how the mentality should be. And this is how I personally think they should still try to win this game and go for it.
Well, and people who don't know him, who are watching and listening, this is an answer by the heart as well from Mudassar Bakari, who is really a player like that. Always plays aggressive cricket, I think. New batsman for HBS is Wessel Koster. Just a final thought from you, Mudassar, please. You are the guy to judge, because you have been in the middle of it when Dutch cricket was climbing up the stairs to, well, number 7 is going here, LBW. Disappointment for Wessel Koster, but it looked quite solid, this decision. Not much movement, not much going forward. You were in the middle of it when Dutch cricket was climbing the stairs. We are still climbing the stairs, of course, and it's a long way to go. But has it become better? Has it increased the level?
What I personally think we have at this stage, if I look around and if I've seen some pro series games and the games playing around now, we have got a lot of homegrown players now, which is very exciting for myself and for a lot of people here to see that our own guys are seeing that they need to work hard, they can achieve that level. So when I started, it was like more fun. We're not gonna get chance. So this is hard, and this. But now the guys are growing hard, and I'm really happy to see players like Basdeley, the Poffermaker, Vivian, all those guys, youngsters who are coming through in any format, like Vikram Singh. These guys are very excited to watch, and I'm always happy when they perform. I'm still crazy about cricket, so I'm still looking all the scorecards and watching which youngsters our local kid has scored runs. That makes me really happy, and I think they believe in themselves, and that's how we can grow as a cricket in Netherlands as a club cricketers. But the guys can grow on the higher level as well. It's not going to be easy for them, but it is worth a shot, and definitely very excited.
What role is for you there to play still, if apart from punishing them or making them sweat to get them runs, or punishing them for bad balls? Do you see any other role for yourself as well?
Yeah, definitely. If KNCB comes to me and asks for me, I'll play like 10 years for and a lot of experience in it, and I definitely can work with the bowlers and hop down bowling on the different kind of pitches. Like when we go in Asia, you need to bowl differently. When you in Europe, when the ball is swinging around, then you bowl differently. And I think with the skills, definitely I can help them out in some areas of bowling.
Okay, just a short one on your semi-final against VCC. You definitely have made your mind up what you will do when you win the toss. I'm not going to ask you what you will do. What's going to be decisive, in your opinion, in this match?
As the match is going on here, so you can look, it's become much easier to bat as the wicket gets harder. So it will be wiser if we win the toss and give VCC to have a go first, and then try to chase that down, because later when the sun is out. And but on the other side, it's a finals day and a semi-final, big games. And I personally believe score on the board is always much pressure. So I'll discuss with one of the senior players in the team and see which decision we make later.
Some decisions still to be made about selection as well.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. I wish you all the best of luck. Cheers. And enjoy.
Thank you very
much, Mudassar. Thank you, Buki. Mudassar Bukhari, former national player for Holland. Great cricketer, great contributor as well, all-rounder. And we're in the third over of Luc Hartzink already. Very good all-round team performance by VRA up till now in this semi-final. Some younger guys took responsibility. Here's another run out. That's the 8th wicket. And HBS is throwing it all away. Had a bit of pressure in on VRA during the batting innings. When Cooper went quickly, when Boren went, but VRA really, with everybody contributing, and Shiraz Rasool probably as the outstanding batsman for the biggest part of the innings, everybody contributed, and not with big scores or big shots, but really sensible batting brought them to 133, and they're very sharp in the field now. Immediately got pressure on the HBS batsman, and it's not an apologize, but which is betting side is really affected by the absence of Tobias Vizé. And I'm quite sure HBS won't use this as an apology. But as Tim de Lede said before, the best T20 batsman in the Netherlands not being available for whatever side is a huge loss. and it shows. Unlucky with the run out of the May, who was in form.